Spring break of my high school year, and a bunch of us guys every year for about 4 years, we'd go down to the Quinault Indian Reservation. We'd camp right on the beach, and probably the tide would come in, it'd be like, the closest it would get to our tent would be maybe 50 feet, 75 feet. That night, we had a campfire, and we'd been clamming and doing everything like that. And so we went to bed, and I happened to be on a cot, an army cot, and I had one of these mummy bags. And I don't know if anybody, a mummy bag you can zip up, where all that's out is about this much of your face, and that's it. So I was on the cot, other guys were on the ground in the tent. And I remember waking up, oh, tide's coming in. You know, I'm asleep, tide's coming in, you know, because I could feel the water. And all of a sudden, the next thing I remember, I'm up at least 10 feet. Just the logs, this big round logs were just came in all at once, pushed us up 10 feet up onto the side of that cliff.
You were trapped. You said you saw the water go out like a couple hundred yards, but
right.
You didn't look like you were going to be able to make it down and make it out.
No, we didn't even think about that. We thought about going up the hill, and then we were crawling.
Cliff climbing.
We were crawling. We weren't going to go down. We were going to go up, not down. One guy was still stuck down in the tent.
So did it wash you out of your tent? Or
yes,
were you
but I don't remember. All I remember is saying, oh, tide must be coming in. And the next thing I remember, I'm up, the water's like 8 feet, 10 feet deep, and it pushed us up to 10 foot to 12 feet up onto the cliff bank up there. And all we have on is our skivvies, that's it. And one guy's still down in the tent, trapped down there. He had to go to the hospital. I don't even remember how he got out, but he got out, and the rest of us, there was 4 of us, the rest of us were up there, and then finally, I don't know if we pulled him out or the wave, another wave knocked him, and the tsunami or tidal wave, it was so incredible in the sense it took out our tent, took out the truck out to sea, took out everything, our motorcycle, it all went out to sea. And we sat there, and the water was like where our tent was 8 to 10 feet deep. And then we watched it. It would go out to the lowest tide that you've ever seen, that I'd ever seen down there before. I mean, it'd go out 200 yards, way out, and you could just see the truck taken out, and the motors, everything taken out, and then the waves would be hitting out there, and then all of a sudden, it'd all come right back in and be, you know, 8, 10 feet deep like that.
When you see the disaster movies, and they show a tsunami, they show the water being sucked out to sea first, and then coming in, but I guess...
And that could have happened, because we were asleep.
Yeah, but it came in, and then it went out again.
Oh, yeah.
How many times did it go in now?
I want to say 4 or 5 times.
And how long between peaks? If it went out and came back in, would it take 10 minutes for it to do that cycle, or?
Yeah, 15, 20 minutes, something like that. That would go in and out like that. And you could see the truck go out, you know, a half a mile, and then it'd be washed back in. And so the Coast Guard was supposed to tell us that they were supposed to warn everybody that a tidal wave was coming, the tsunami was coming. They messed up. They got in big trouble. The Coast Guard station was only about a mile away. And so finally, the Coast Guard came down and got us. They parked up on top of the road. There was a roadway up above where that cliff was, or, you know, I call it a cliff. It was an incline of about like this, you know. And so then I think they came down, and we crawled our way up to get up to the road up there. So.
Oh, I was thinking they came by in a boat.
No. The Coast Guard, they were in a vehicle. They gave us their uniforms, clothes to wear, and wrapped us up. But they called all our parents, everybody's parents, and said we were all washed out to sea and dead. And all our parents thought we were dead. And all the bridges were washed out. I mean, you couldn't get down there. And I don't know how long it took before the Coast Guard finally got it right that we were alive. And so then they called our parents, let them know they were alive. And I think it was the next day, through going back roads and everything, they were able to get down there. But we eventually got the truck back, but the motor was shot, you know. Really weren't scared because you didn't have enough time to be scared.
That's where you camped, below that cliff?
Yeah, we were right over about where my finger is.
But that's the cliff you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's about 100 feet up, and probably would have been worse than what it was, except this Point Grenville, and right up here is where the naval station was, and we were
a mile away.
Yeah, and we were right down here. So this is where it was, at Point Grenville, Washington, right on the Quemelt Indian Reserve. One of the people that we know from our church, bought a house right close to where we were actually camping at. And so they invited us to go down there, and we've spent several times down there, and some of our kids had their honeymoons there at their house, and so it brought back a lot of memories. So that's sort of my experience of a tidal wave or tsunami, and this was the Alaskan earthquake.